The air hung heavy over Dili, East Timor, as the first light of dawn crept across the city. There was a sense of unease, a quiet tension that seemed to settle over the streets and alleyways. People moved about with a cautious hope, not knowing that this day would become one of the darkest in their nation's history. The city, usually alive with the sounds of daily life, felt subdued, as if it too sensed the coming storm. On the 12th of November 1991, the people of Dili awoke to a day that would change everything. It was a day marked on calendars, but no one could have predicted the sorrow it would bring. The city's residents, young and old, prepared to gather for a peaceful demonstration, hoping their voices would be heard by the world. A day that would forever be etched in the memory of this small nation, as families and friends came together, united by a longing for freedom and justice. The streets filled with mourners and hopeful faces, each person carrying the weight of their dreams and the pain of their past. The air was thick with emotion, as if the city itself was holding its breath. It was a day when the peaceful whispers for freedom were met with the deafening roar of violence. What began as a solemn march with banners raised and flowers in hand quickly turned into chaos. The hopes of a nation carried on the shoulders of its youth collided with the harsh reality of oppression. The silence of the marchers was shattered by gunfire, and the dreams of so many were drowned out by fear and confusion. The Santa Cruz massacre, a tragedy that unfolded in the heart of the city, would leave scars that could never fully heal. In the chaos, lives were lost, families were torn apart, and the world's attention was drawn to the suffering of East Timor. The cemetery, meant to be a place of remembrance and peace, became a symbol of unimaginable loss and courage. The events of that day would shake the world and irrevocably alter the course of East Timor's destiny. News of the massacre spread far beyond the island's shores, igniting outrage and solidarity across the globe. Survivors shared their stories, and the world began to listen. From that day forward, the struggle for freedom in East Timor could no longer be ignored, and the memory of November 12th would inspire generations to come. For years, East Timor had languished under the yoke of Indonesian occupation, a period marked by oppression and the systematic erosion of basic human rights. The Timorese people, yearning for self-determination, lived under the constant threat of violence. Their voices, though muted, continued to whisper of freedom, their spirits unbroken despite the hardships they endured. On that fateful day, thousands of Timorese citizens congregated at the Santa Cruz cemetery. They came to mourn Sebastião Gomes, a young activist slain by Indonesian forces, his death a stark reminder of the brutal reality of the occupation. The cemetery, a place of mourning, transformed into a sanctuary of peaceful protest, a testament to the Timorese people's unwavering resolve to resist oppression. As the crowd swelled, the Indonesian military, threatened by this display of unity and defiance, responded with unmitigated brutality. Gunfire erupted, shattering the solemn quiet of the cemetery, transforming a place of remembrance into a scene of unimaginable carnage. Hundreds of unarmed civilians, their peaceful assembly met with violence, were left dead or wounded, their pleas for freedom silenced by the cold steel of bullets. Unbeknownst to the perpetrators, the world bore witness to their atrocities. As the violence unfolded, the eyes of the international community were drawn to East Timor, a place that had long suffered in silence. Suddenly, the suffering of its people was no longer hidden in the shadows. The world was watching, and the truth could not be ignored. Hidden amongst the throng of mourners were foreign journalists, risking their safety to document the unfolding tragedy. They moved quietly, blending in with the crowd, their presence barely noticed by those intent on silencing the voices of protest. These reporters understood the gravity of the moment, knowing that their work could change the course of history. Their cameras captured the horrifying truth of the massacre, scenes of chaos, fear, and unimaginable loss. Every frame they recorded was a testament to the courage of those who dared to stand up and to the brutality faced by the innocent. The footage would become undeniable evidence of the crimes committed. Max Stahl, a name forever synonymous with bravery and truth-telling, stood at the heart of the story. With unwavering determination, he documented the events as they happened, refusing to look away, even as danger closed in. His commitment to revealing the truth would inspire journalists around the world. Risking everything, Stahl and his colleagues smuggled out footage that would shock the world. The tapes, hidden and transported in secret, carried the raw reality of East Timor's suffering to international audiences. These images would break through the wall of silence, demanding attention and action. The footage exposed the brutal reality of the Indonesian occupation. Soldiers confronting unarmed civilians, a military crackdown that left devastation in its wake. The world could no longer turn away from the suffering of East Timor, as the evidence was now undeniable and impossible to ignore. The regime's desperate attempts to silence dissent were laid bare for all to see. Protesters were silenced, their voices stifled, but the truth had already escaped. The world's eyes were now open, and the call for justice could not be silenced. The images from Santa Cruz sparked outrage and condemnation across the globe. Governments and international organizations, silent for far too long, could no longer ignore the plight of the Timorese people. The massacre became a turning point, galvanizing international pressure on Indonesia to end its occupation and respect the Timorese people's right to self-determination. From the ashes of tragedy, a renewed sense of determination arose within the hearts of the Timorese people. The Santa Cruz massacre, a harrowing testament to their suffering, became a rallying cry for independence. The world, finally awakened to their plight, stood in solidarity, supporting their struggle for freedom. While East Timor eventually gained its independence, the scars of the Santa Cruz massacre remain. Justice, for many of the victims and their families, remains elusive. The perpetrators of this heinous crime, those responsible for orchestrating and carrying out the massacre, have yet to be held accountable for their actions. Today, the Santa Cruz Cemetery stands as a solemn memorial to the victims. Its white gravestones and quiet pathways bearing silent witness to a tragedy that forever changed the course of Timor Leste's history. The cemetery, once an ordinary resting place, has become a sacred ground, a symbol of both loss and the unbreakable will of a people determined to be free. Here the air is heavy with memory, and every stone tells a story of courage, sacrifice and hope for a better future. It is a poignant reminder of the human cost of oppression, where families gather to lay flowers and light candles, their gestures echoing the pain and love that still linger decades after the massacre. The cemetery is not just a place of mourning, but also a space for reflection and healing, where the community comes together to support one another and to ensure that the memories of those lost are never forgotten. The indomitable spirit of the Timorese people shines brightest each year on the anniversary of the massacre, when the nation gathers as one to remember. The streets fill with the sound of footsteps and voices as survivors, families and supporters march in solidarity, carrying banners and photographs of loved ones. The annual commemoration is a powerful act of collective remembrance, a day when grief and hope intertwine and the nation reaffirms its commitment to justice and peace. During these ceremonies, the names of the victims are read aloud, their stories shared with new generations. Survivors and their families lay wreaths and offer prayers, their faces marked by both sorrow and pride. The solemn rituals serve not only to honor the memory of those who lost their lives, but also to remind the world of the price paid for freedom and the importance of standing up against injustice. The Timorese flags flutter in the breeze, a symbol of unity and resilience. People embrace, finding comfort in shared remembrance, and the monument, adorned with flowers, stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of resilience that ultimately led to their hard-won freedom. The legacy of Santa Cruz is not only a story of loss, but also of hope, a beacon that continues to inspire those who seek justice and dignity. Across Timor Leste, the memory of Santa Cruz fuels the ongoing pursuit of peace and justice. Peaceful protest marches, vigils and acts of remembrance are woven into the fabric of national identity, reminding all that true change is born from courage and unity. The power of peaceful resistance, demonstrated by the Timorese people, stands as a lesson to the world, that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, hope can endure and justice can prevail. The Justice Monument, the voices of survivors, and the flicker of candlelight at the Santa Cruz cemetery all speak to the enduring pursuit of justice. The legacy of Santa Cruz is alive in every act of remembrance, every call for accountability, and every step toward a more just and peaceful future for Timor Leste and the world.